Injustice, absurd, miserable, reputable. Just some of the words you might hear from people when discussing the ongoing travel ban. On January 27th, newly elected President Donald Trump issued an executive order in which bans Syrian refugees and citizens from 7 Muslim countries.
It's not a Muslim ban, but we're totally prepared. It's working out very nicely. You see it at the airports, you see it all over. It's working out very nicely.
The travel ban sent shockwaves through the nation and has overall received mixed reactions. Crowds of thousands of individuals with differing views from the US and beyond have come out and protested, with local airports being one of the target destinations. Bloomfield political professor Dan Skinner.
The common ground, though, is the security of the state. So I understand the anger on both sides. I happen to be that there should be morality in the system. We should follow some kind of normative codes, if you will. And it becomes problematic, though, because right now people are caught up into the fire, into the angst of the situation. That's not a bad thing to look at, but you also have to nod your head and say, well, that's why that position of the executive exists as it is.
On February the 3rd, U.S. federal court judge James Robert blocked President Trump's travel ban, a decision upheld by the Ninth Circuit Courts of Appeals in an attempt to resume the travel ban. A revised executive order has recently been issued, with the biggest takeaway being that the country of Iraq is removed.
It's a moral decision to say that the first decision and the second decision, which surprisingly is not getting any notice now, that they're both, if not completely biased, they are racially motivated and religiously motivated. 4 out of those 6 states that still remain on the target list are over 95% Muslim. To ban any kind of egress from that country into our country from an immigration or visitor status, it would be hard to bypass. The thing that ties these countries together is that they're Muslim, majority Muslim. But the question then arises, if that's the case, then why isn't Indonesia, the largest Muslim country in the world, on the list? Why isn't Saudi Arabia on the list?
A former refugee 5 years ago from Egypt, having a consensus when it comes to the travel ban is hard for one current BC student.
If it was permanent, then I would have a problem with it. Honestly, I'm kind of conflicted about it, but at the same time I kind of understand, because with what happened with Europe, with the refugees, when they entered them, they found out ISIS amongst them, and ISIS even said that they're like hiding amongst them. So I'm kind of thinking there should be a better way, not ban them, but like basically check out everyone.
It's very consistent with American history, because this is not the first time that a group of people, whether it was based on their racial identity, their national identity, were barred from this country.
Despite numerous protests that continue to be made around the country, a CNN poll conducted shortly after President Donald Trump's initial travel ban shows America being split, as 53% oppose the ban, while 47% support it. However, negativity around the beginning of President Trump's presidential campaign appears far from over, in which a large portion of the American public views him with indifference.
What's shocking is that he got this far. There's still a lot of work that has to be done.
Work that starts with the very people living currently in the United States.
If you don't read this stuff, if we don't educate ourselves on it, how can we ever defeat it? The first thing you have to do is you have to go and you have to witness it and you have to speak out against it. You can't just turn away. You can't just say, oh, the next election, it'll be okay. No. The worms are coming out of the rotten wood. Now's the time to go fishing with those worms.